Vanity project.
It's a chart topper.
Vanity.
Midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis!
Oh, you whore!
Not midlife crisis. Midlife clarity.
They're arrogant.
Nice if you like.
Midlife clarity.
Menopause.
Oh, menopause?
Is it a vanity
Yeah,
project?
I'm losing my edge.
It's a vanity project.
I stared into the abyss.
I'm losing my
A
edge.
cash grab vanity project.
That little vanity project.
It's tremendous. I love it.
It's just a vanity project.
Oh, were Nancy Mitford to write the perfect gentleman, she would devise the soul of Mr. Float, the Honourable Mr. I actually quite like Nancy Mitford.
Do go on.
The Mitford sisters were very, very odd. Nancy, Love in a Cold Climate's her most famous work. You'd like it. She's sort of like a lady P.G. Wodehouse.
Okay.
Did you ever read the Jeeves books?
I never did, actually, which seems like something of an oversight.
Jesus, mate.
I know. Look, there's a bunch of things that I haven't read. There are big gaps in my reading knowledge, which I generally just gloss over.
This isn't knowledge. This is like frou-frou. This is nonsense. This is for when how many years of free university were there in Australia? I think about 13, and both of our lives coincided with that golden halcyon period where we could ponce about pretending that we were at Oxford.
To an extent, yes. Certainly my very first year, so I did a year at Monash before I changed to another university. And yeah, you could just pick whatever the fuck you wanted to be interested in. It was bonkers. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously something that could not last. You don't want citizens full of ideas with hopes and dreams of a better world and a philosophical framework now, do you? Because what could happen? What could possibly happen? I've been falling into my Marxy ways.
Really?
Well, it just started happening because I was listening. I've never listened to a true crime podcast before. Apparently, they're quite popular.
They are very, very popular. And there's some great online battles going on at the moment over if you have a distaste for true crime podcasts, specifically the Mushroom Podcast Daily or whatever it was called.
That's what I've been listening to, yes.
Yeah, and apparently if you have a distaste for that, there's a big chance that you're a misogynist. That's what I'm reading online.
I'm not extremely online, I'm extremely offline now, and I don't really understand this sort of quasi-feminist defense. Women like true crime because they're so frightened of men that they seek solace in, no, they're just dark bitches. And we don't get to fucking hit each other. We just give each other anorexia or something, you know? I mean, I think it's as simple as that. You know, there's a long-term fascination for true crime by everyday women of the West. And I don't think this is particularly new.
But is it akin to, all dudes, all men will, if it comes on television, if there is some kind of thing about the Second World War,
Yeah.
you'll just watch it. You'll just watch it, even though you pretty much know how it turns out. It's just hardwired.
Perhaps gentlemen like organised brutality, whereas women prefer the less professionalised, sort of amateur.
Less mechanised.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's something very, very dark within the human creature, right? At Warramanga Primary School, you couldn't keep the World Book Encyclopedia from opening up at the pages with dreadful dermatitis. It was the most popular book in Mrs. Burke's library.
Oh, okay.
But you know what children are like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, apart from the fact that there were things of a fleshly nature that you might not otherwise see.
Yeah, and it was 25 years before Dr. Pimple Popper was on YouTube.
I bet you, being the unfeasibly handsome chappie that you are, have never suffered a single acca in your life.
That is not true. I had very, very bad skin when I was a teen. Yeah, very bad skin. Got teased for it a lot. As a result, I have no interest in watching Dr. Pimple Popper, despite the fact that many people that I know, some of whom might live in the same house with me, don't mind a bit of it.
Well, your wife is a therapist debutante of some note. So, of course, I mean, this is the mark of a good beauty therapist. Does she enjoy extracting sebaceous matter from a cyst, big or small? Yes, we'll go and see that one. Now she works in feet. Melbourne's best medi-pedi.
That's all right. She scrubs hooves for money. That's good.
One of the reasons, though, I did come to Marx again was by way of podcasts. Haven't listened to. Who wants to fucking listen to a podcast? Do you listen?
Yeah, especially just a couple of Gen Xers just shooting the shit.
Oh,
who would want that?
no one.
But you've been listening to podcasts?
Yes, I've been listening to podcasts, and then I just sort of segued into a narrativized account of when Karl met Friedrich. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it all started with the mushroom thing.
And what
Did you like the doctor, though?
Which doctor?
The doctor who's been making brazen, folksy statements about Erin's guilt.
Oh, I saw a little bit about that. I must declare that I have paid little to no attention to the mushroom trial, to the point that it turned out that one of the people involved in the defense, who was on television all the time, we only realised was one of Erin's clients the other day.
Right.
So over the course of the past couple of years, that poor person has probably heard Erin have a chat about her theories on that case. I think she was just sitting there saying, oh, I'm working on a very big case right now. Do you mind if I just sit here and go through briefs on my laptop?
Oh, truly? We best not divulge too much, but
No,
that's
that's enough.
rather fabulous.
Moving right along, Helen.
So the medi-pedi that was perhaps responsible for the victory of justice overall. Fuck me. Anyway, from podcast to podcast, you're only ever a couple of clicks away from Tales of the First International. Mm-hmm. You know, Marx, bless him, he was only off by about 100 years or so. But, I mean, he does describe the end of capitalism quite well, if you want to think of this. Do you think of this time as the era of late capitalism, or are you not interested?
There's a thing that people say that we are currently living through late-stage capitalism, but I don't think that many people have really interrogated what they actually mean by that. We're certainly living through a period of increasing rentier class capitalism.
Yes.
That is basically two things are taking place. There's been an over-accumulation so that there are now monopolies in things that are not natural monopolies. For example, in the United States, you have venture capital firms that are just buying all of the rental properties in particular cities. And
By a natural monopoly, you'd be referring to something like electricity services or what have you.
That's right. Or even you might talk about things like transport, things that more naturally might be considered to be monopolies. So that is certainly part of it. The other is that, to me, we have gotten to a position where we treat many societal things that are goodwill as things that can be mined.
We're all over the shop today, but let's go with it.
Absolutely, like a mad dog shit. But we're living in a period where if there is something that can be strip mined, if there is a resource that can be strip mined, it will be.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as being
When you
something
talk
that's
about
gonna follow.
goodwill, what do you mean?
Here is a good example. Charity muggers. So the people who collect for charities in the street and ask you if you will sign up to Médecins Sans Frontières for the next 5 years, all right? Which is what they do. Those are all run by private companies.
Yes, of course.
And the way that they are structured is that the charity itself makes no money at all for year one, and they make some money in year two, and it takes them a long time to actually get the vast majority of your money.
Yeah. I will say for MSF, who I think I'm still giving them money, they're actually a strangely well-run organisation, although I think Save the Children wins year on year. Your little mate Peter Singer was attempting to quantify which was the best charity. God, he's a fucking idiot.
But what those people do is come up to you in the street and start to tell you a story, and they take advantage of the fact that you would, or once upon a time, would talk to people in the street.
Yeah.
Right? Now what happens
So
is...
like Tupperware is essentially what you're saying.
Well, no, shared spaces of trust. So,
Yeah, which is what the Tupperware party was based on.
I mean that people who need directions in the street now, they can't ask anybody in the street because everyone's just like, fuck off, because you're about to ask me for money.
Yeah. I just love talking about Tupperware because there was supposed to be a Sandra Bullock biopic about the foundress of Tupperware, and I'm still waiting because that's a night out of the cinema that I want. I like vintage Tupperware, and I like this sort of emotional capitalism because it's intervening directly in the female networks of care. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the hostess of the Tupperware party would basically guilt trip the other ladies.
That's right, because the person who hosted the Tupperware party would get a gift and they would get better and better gifts if more and more was purchased.
Does your mum have Tupperware?
My mum did have Tupperware. I do remember as a kid being dragged along to a couple of Tupperware parties. I don't remember.
Dragged?
Oh, well, I was a toddler. You know.
Yes, so was I. I adored them. They were the best place in all of Christendom to be. No. I understand what you mean. But, I mean, I think that, that relationship between material things happens all the time. Mm-hmm. We don't have relations, particularly at this sort of like late stage of advanced capitalism in cardiac arrest, with doing all sorts of, as you were talking before, these equity experiments in nothingness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the financialization of everything.
Yeah. So as AI takes all the good jobs, like AI is not doing the shitty jobs, AI is taking the good knowledge class jobs.
Well, that's the interesting thing, right? So we always thought that we would eventually have robots to do all of the boring shit for us.
Yeah. And
people are getting it to do drawings and paintings and write music and do all the things that are actually the good things that you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, as somebody who has an unusual relationship to capital at the moment, like I'm in a position where I'm essentially, I shan't tell you my own private business. I don't work. I'm essentially unemployable. So my perspective on this is perhaps a little skewed, but just such a huge hunk of my identity has floated away, and I bid it farewell. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that part of me again. I was actually quite flattered when AI managed to absolutely rip me off. You told me about a year ago, I think, or maybe 6 months ago, I think it was on this very podcast, have you tried typing your own name into ChatGPT or similar and asking it to write like you? And
very, very specifically, it was when I was trying to get you to write some copy for the website and deadlines whooshed past, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just see if ChatGPT can write this like Helen Razor would. And it did a pretty good job.
No, I have trouble writing. I had a sort of, a workplace injury. My writing muscle broke. But I did feed ChatGPT a lot of my books and what have you. It got me within an hour. Like, it's a perfect fucking replica, except better and shinier. Very, very few errors, unlike myself. And I was actually quite flattered. It was like my first instinct was not, oh my God, it was just, well, at least I have a style distinctive enough to be codable.
Yeah, and I think
replicable.
I think that in that particular case, it's an interesting use, right? Which is, here's all of my stuff, divine my style from that, which is just basically an average and a whole bunch of cluster sorts. And then now, how would I write this? Yeah, that's one way of using it. But I think that one of the real challenges that you see at the moment with anything that is produced by LLMs for writing is generally beige and bland as fuck. There's a regression to the median of just like really, really boring stuff.
Yeah, but the prompts are boring.
It's not just that the prompts are boring, it's that if you put everything into an average machine and then ask it to give you the average, it will give you the average. You're not going to get great stuff. You'll get average stuff. I'm
sort of working on this ridiculous experiment at the moment. It's an epistolary young adult dystopian fiction. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. It just struck me. This is an old idea that I dusted off. And I've actually been asking it to imitate different styles of very marginal, radical writers, like writers that you might only find on Semiotext or AK Books, or do this in the voice of Howard Zinn. Mm-hmm. I used to be at one time quite good at words.
Yeah.
I'm actually stunned by the capacity of the thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the interesting arguments that does come out, there's a lot of people like me who, like, I really don't like it being used for work, and I don't like it being used, and I'm talking specifically here around the use of large language models as a way of creating.
What's a large language model?
That's basically the model behind what is going to be generating the copy that you ask for. So it's just huge corpuses of written language.
Yeah.
Something like ChatGPT, when you ask it to generate something, it's pretty much just a very, very glorified spell check that has an enormous corpus to draw from. Just an extraordinarily large corpus to draw from. So it is basically defining what the averages are and what the next most likely word is to be. It's not right.
My brain simply refuses to grapple with anything like code. And so for me to say, oh, I can hear the subroutines humming, I mean, I don't know what the fuck it's doing, but I do know that it responds, rather like some fairly primitive databases that I've used for one reason or another throughout my working life, that if you ask it not to do certain things, what's that kind of logic called again?
Boolean logic.
Yeah, when you ask it not to do things, to exclude certain things, it can Michelangelo the shit out of crap. He's purported to have said in answer to a question about how he did such divine work, he simply took away what was not supposed to be there.
Yes.
I know there's a word for this in programming.
Like, it's basically deductive logic, right?
I don't know, but I'm, honestly, I found it therapeutic. Mm-hmm. I feel... I don't know. It's quite nice knowing that the commodity that I produced is completely valueless now. I can no longer sell my labour. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, so there are a whole bunch of people who are accelerationists around this stuff, or specifically that reason. You get to people like Aaron Bastani. Aaron Bastani is one of these people who I consider to be an accelerationist. So he wrote a book called Fully Automated Luxury Communism.
Oh, yeah, Falk. It's more of a kind of an anarchist thing, maybe. It's like a prefigurative anarchist thing more than a sort of like a commie thing.
But it's spread really far and wide now, because you see the people who call themselves effective altruists, like the really, really rich cunts. They're really accelerationists now. There's a whole bunch of people in all different kind of branches of political thought who just are like, we need to get past this bit now, and we don't really care. Like, some people are going to lose their jobs. That's just how it is.
Well, that's fine. That's I guess, strictly speaking, that's a revolutionary Marxist take, or at least it's a historical materialist take on what is supposed to happen in history. Capitalism is not kind of like the natural end of history, the most perfect manifestation of humanity. I know that a lot of people will argue with you. They'll say, oh, it's unrealistic. This is the way that things are supposed to be. But capitalism has really only been with us for about, 200 years. It was a long, long haul from feudalism to capitalism, and now we're seeing, fuck knows what we're seeing. We're seeing the intrinsic tendency to crisis overplay itself, and there is something to be said for that. What is it? Deng Xiaoping was supposed to have famously said when asked, well, how did the Cultural Revolution go for you guys? And he said, oh, it's too soon to tell, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those apocryphal business goose things that I really hope happened. Yeah, we've really abandoned all segments. We've been having technical trouble.
we have had
handsome today, by the way.
I just got back from getting a haircut. Thank you very much.
Oh God, that's what it is.
Haircut and beard trim.
You're always about a semitone lower when you've just had a haircut.
Yeah, because I feel better.
Do you go to a manly barber?
I go to a barber that I won't name for OPSEC reasons, but it is a kind of the place where guys go in and get their Peaky Blinder haircuts, or they used to.
What a surprise, Ross.
But I get it done by a lovely woman, and there was somebody else there today who gave me a really lovely compliment, and I was like, this is great. I'm going to come back here, and I even booked my next haircut.
Oh, the vanity
of the
midlife male.
So easy to hook me.
Oh, God, me too. You want me not to come back into your place of business? Call me ma'am, motherfucker. No one likes being called ma'am.
Yeah, I hate it when I get called sir in the United States. It's so offensive.
But you can't accelerate history, not unless you're sort of like Bezos rich.
But those are the level of people who are trying to do it at the moment, and those are the type of people who are pumping people like Ezra Klein's book Abundance at the moment. Those are the people who are
you think Jeff Bezos wants to not over-accumulate wealth? Like, he has nothing, he has no choice. Like, wealth over-accumulation has to happen at this juncture.
I guess, look, there are a lot of people on the bonkers billionaire right, and they are becoming more and more bonkers by the week, who are really pushing for a post-governmental society, and they're pushing for a post-rights society.
Yeah, but billionaires are bonkers. Like, how the fuck would you sleep at night otherwise, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Helen.
What?
I was going to try and see if we could get onto one of our subjects.
Yeah. We should get on to one of our subjects. All right, very quickly, I'm cross with Ross because he made me read a David Brooks article in the New York Times. You made me read a David Brooks opinion piece in the New York Times, and this is why I've gone on like a pork chop.
I try to respect your trauma-light diet of news. I try not to send you anything that is actually traumatic, apart from things that are maybe intellectually traumatic, like having to read an article by David Brooks or just sending you anything from The Atlantic. I think that's how I get back at you.
Word to the wise, ask ChatGPT, no Atlantic fucking puff pieces in my answer, thank you. That works. So David Brooks has written, he's like, novels. They used to matter in America, but now they don't. What up?
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? I mean, I'm very guilty of talking about the same thing every week on the podcast, which is that novels suck.
But they do. You're quite right. They're not the art form of the era.
No, they're very much not.
It's got fucking time.
Well, also, we stopped believing in the power of a small number of authors and everybody became a producer or a publisher. So that model has gone, right? You used to be able to have the model of gatekeepers and there would be only a certain number of things that were produced each year. And now there's so many things that it's impossible for you to honestly be able to sample a reasonable selection.
And fuck me, there's some good shit around. But anyway, David Brooks is saying, in 1969, Portnoy's Complaint was the number one novel. By the way, Portnoy's Complaint, like, I don't like novels, but that's a fucking good one. Portnoy's Complaint is wanking, by the way. Philip Roth is hilarious. So he there's this sort of like, decline of culture. Like when was the golden age of culture? Like we only basically got literate about 80 years ago. So when was this golden period? We're talking about the 1960s, are we?
Well, it's always the time when you, the writer, were yourself 27 is when it always was.
I was vile.
But I mean, I can think back to kind of, when I was 27 and I read a lot of novels. I honestly did.
Yeah, because you were a Dumbo, you were only young and you thought, the power of art to move me. And, what it actually produces is emotionally dead human tissue, I reckon.
And I wonder how much of the discussion at the moment around the decline of the novel and men aren't reading enough and all that sort of stuff is really about a decline in the teaching of what people my age and older thought was the shared canon, which no longer exists, right? Even if it ever did.
I mean, first of all, you had a group of men who'd seen action in World War II, and then there was a huge unprecedented growth of the middle class in America. And, I mean, it must have been good to be like Joseph Heller or, one of those blokes in the 1960s. I mean, people would just be throwing puss at you, right? I love Catch-22. That's a brilliant book. I mean, not that I read novels anymore, but
no.
I mean, if you
not when George Clooney's going to come out and make a reasonable 3-part miniseries.
I mean, but the other thing is, there's exceptions. Yeah, Nabokov had a bestseller, and good on him. Have you read Lolita?
I did when I was young. I found the entire thing distasteful.
Yeah.
But also just the language is florid. It was just it was not for me.
Oh, well, I think he wrote in French and he was translated. So, maybe Vlad was better than that. But I haven't read it for years, but I remember actually feeling kind of quite moved for the plight of this silly old man who thought that, this young woman was meaningfully fascinated by him. But I think that might actually be the story. But if you
well, it very much is, but it's also the type of thing that at the moment we don't really, certainly in the right-on world, we don't really make room for those types of reading.
Well, I'm not we. I'm not. I don't live in the right-on world. It's insufferable.
Yeah, but also this is one of the reasons why are there no great novels anymore, for argument's sake, if that's what people are trying to say, which is kind of the thrust of the argument.
Because we can't have teen poon in them.
It's not even that. You think about the last novelist that kind of men agreed on for a while, which was Chuck Palahniuk.
Chucky.
Now, there's no room for any nuanced reading of any of his stuff anymore.
Oh, geez, I hate the word
something
nuanced.
Like Chuck. Well, okay.
I mean, I don't think you need
a non-simplistic reading.
Okay, yeah, political correctness has gone mad. But I mean,
I don't
certainly
think it's-
we can say this from a country which has like banned more fucking books than any other Western liberal democracy.
We sure have.
Like,
we love it.
I
We're
mean,
mad for it.
Alfred Deakin had a great big library and a penchant for banning everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the novels of Emile Zola. Like, and I'm sure my great grandparents who were alive at the time, you know, sort of round about Federation, were just, you know, dashing off to the city to get their Zola after their kind of like, you know, first grade education. But I don't know, like it was ever thus, you know, kind of thing, like in the time of mass culture. Also, you know, there was never a great number of people reading fantastic books.
But a lot of the current wailing and gnashing of teeth on this issue, and it's you know, it's not just me making fun of it because I think it's hilarious. This has been something that has been discussed in progressive circles for a while. You know, men don't read, nobody reads enough, we're not doing enough big thinking, all that sort of shit. Comes from a time from people who, I don't know, do you reckon David Brooks has ever poured a couple of 100 hours into playing The Last of Us?
Yeah,
Right?
God.
There are other forms of popular culture that are telling stories that are just not the ones that David Brooks, for argument's sake, is interested in and it's paid any attention to.
Yeah.
You know, the world has moved on. You know, we're talking about the Second World War. One of the reasons that so many people came back so well read was because of the American military's decision to publish all of those very, very cheap books and giving away to GIs.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the material conditions that allowed the creation of that. I do think that the current, what do they call it on the internet now? The discourse. That's a very posh word, isn't it?
Discourse, not even once, Helen. We never discourse. We never get involved in it. Tough on discourse, tough on the causes of discourse.
Yeah.
That's going to be what I run on.
I mean, it is such a fucking moralising age. You can't, you can't go anywhere without like facing some kind of injunction. You know, I'm in a fucking loo at the corner hotel or something and there's a sign that says, "Do you feel unsafe? Why not text unsafe to this mobile number?" Who the fuck am I texting? And I hear supermarket voiceovers, aggression will not be tolerated, and oh my fucking God. But at the same time, I mean, my father, who mainlines Sky News, is offering his version of the same thing, which is, "My opinions are being silenced." Which is, I've said, "Dad, can you fucking turn that shit off?" So, I mean, I think everybody has an idea of having some kind of, and, you know, as you sagely said, I mean, people do have an experience of becoming content makers. You know, so everybody does have some experience of, I guess, what was at one time enjoyed only by a few. But for me, I think it comes down to this fucking man-woman bullshit that I am so fucking sick of. We can agree that things are in an odd state culturally and materially in the West, can't we?
Yes, I think we can take that as read.
There's a certain amount of denial going on. There is great wealth over accumulation. There's record levels of poverty, et cetera, et cetera. Things aren't working. In the dying moments of the West, what it's doing is this kind of like Hamilton explosion, this grand finale of fucking tolerance, where, you know, basically we're being promised oppression by, you know, a diverse group. Now, that's all you've got, right? So put the revolutionary costume from the past on and say, "Women, women, women, oppression, oppression, oppression. These voices have always been silenced. Share your story." And this is the stand-in. This is what we have to be proud of. Like, it's no surprise, really, that there's such a fixity on gender or biological sex or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Both, either, Judith Butler, I don't care. Women are not the vessel for revolution. Women are not special. And maybe women have too many fucking emotions. I'm sick of fucking examining the interior of my head. I mean, just this man bad, woman good thing? Like what? I become good because of the nature of my oppression, or is it my ovaries? You know what I mean?
Yes, I absolutely do know what you mean. I think this is something that we have discussed before, which is
It really upsets me.
yeah, there is something that I think I personally diagnosed some time ago, which was that for certain progressive movements, there was a period where their outrage and being on the right side of things intersected. And it was a very long period. But for some people, and it's not a gender politics thing, but for some people, the idea that if you're angry, then you're right.
Yeah.
If you are strident, then you are correct. Look, there was a time when there was an intersection of those things.
I mean, there's a great deal of jouissance. There's a great deal of pleasure in feeling righteous. I mean, we've all experienced it, right?
Absolutely.
It's a very attractive state. But I mean, I don't know what these kids today need, Ross. I'm telling you.
What they need
is a bit of armed struggle.
What they need is to have a fleet of very small scurrying robots that go around all of our streets, like rat-sized, but maybe more in the form of a crab. And if the legs of their trousers are too long, they need to run up the legs of their trousers and bite them on the privates. That's what the kids these days need.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is we're even having this conversation, right? Like, I appreciate what you were saying earlier about the accelerationists. I mean, cheer it on. The mechanics of history anyone who says that they know what's going to happen is a liar or deluded. But, fuck, now I'm depressed. Sorry. I shouldn't be. I'm actually quite elated by this conversation as well. It's just history will not move because of the discourse. Like, we can talk our way into – we're not the fucking Bolsheviks, right? We don't even have a plan,
We're the Mensheviks at best.
Are we going to move history along by talking about it? I mean, sure, I'm all for an intellectual vanguard, but get your pitchforks out.
Helen,
I'm
there
so
is
sorry.
one. No.
Is there anything from the culture that you like this week?
Yes, I wanted you to tell me what you thought of Sinners.
Oh, wow. I thought it was a very rich text. I have to watch it a few more. I have to watch it a few more times. No, look, it's good. It's good. I was moved. And I was really, really happy to see an appearance by Bootsy Collins. There can never be too much of that.
That wasn't actual Bootsy, was it?
No, but it was a Bootsy representation.
It was a Boots-alike.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like Black Panther. That might be a bit uncool of me to say, but I don't really like comics. I didn't like the kind of the essentialism of Black Panther, like because you come from deepest, darkest Africa, you're a more pure kind of black man. I mean, not that it's really up to me to do the critical race theory because I am so fucking white. I am whiter than white. But it's the same director, right? Like, fucking what a talent. Maybe I need to watch Black Panther again. I don't know. Oh, God, I'm torn when I watch those Marvel movies. Do I cheer or do I run screaming? I don't know. What if one day they came to me and they said, we've got a part for you in a Marvel movie, Helen?
Oh, okay. That's an interesting thought experiment. Would you be in a Marvel movie? I think the answer would have to be yes, because the pay packets are so fucking high.
Well, I'd do it for the personal training.
Yes. That is certainly one of the things, right? One of my favourite things of the course of the past kind of 20 years has been when people talk about impossible body standards for women and only women get all these types of things, have a look one day at the different photographs of Hugh Jackman for every single film that he played Wolverine in.
Yeah.
The very first one, he was ripped for whenever that film first came out.
He is a true performer, Hugh. Really. When he debuted on Broadway, which was quite a shock to anybody who knew him as Wolverine, he was lauded as the best debut on Broadway since Streisand.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he's fucking good. I've actually seen him, and I don't even like musical fucking theatre. I think it's poison. He's quite something, isn't he?
He is. But the thing that I was talking about was just the difference in personal training over the course of 15 years to be in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
The body that Hugh Jackman had the first time he played Wolverine is not dissimilar to the bodies that I see on just like random dudes at the gym now.
Yeah.
Right? The arms race of pecs and delts has been incredible, and I have not participated. I'm the Melios in this Peloponnesian War.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm going through something, Ross.
Oh, okay.
Very emotionally. No, I'm not going through anything. But I will say, cheerio to the Peter MacCallum Cancer Centre, who has admitted me as a bulk billed patient.
Sweet as.
I know. Some remnants of the welfare state remain if you scrounge and you yell.
Excellent. Well, that is wonderful news.
Look, I take responsibility for that entirely. Bitsy, we apologise.
All right. See you, Rose.
Bye.
Bye.